for my questions.
Are you planning to sign anything? Are you planning to sign an executive order of reciprocal tariffs?
Yes, I am. In fact, I may do it today, and if I do it today, I could almost do it right now. Would you like me to talk about that? I don't want to take anything away from this young lady's day, because this is her day, and I may do it later on, or I may do it tomorrow morning, but we'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them. And as you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%. And that'll go up at some point, but 25%, which will level the playing field quite a bit. I did it previously 50%, and Obama was very weak, and Biden was even weaker on steel. The steel was just absolutely, it really started with Obama. The world really took advantage of us, and then that morphed into Biden. And what they did was, he was so worried about trying to attack his political opponent that he didn't know what he was doing with respect to countries taking advantage. He should have looked at the countries, both friend and foe, taking advantage of us. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge, very simply. But we're going to be...
talk about widespread fraud.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous fraud. It's tremendous fraud, and it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done a fit. He doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does.
I've been practicing with this for a while.
It's his group of people. You know,
my
they
hands
started
are a
off
little
with
tired
12.
out from practicing with
I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them. This is a massive fraud that's taken place. And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City. You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of what they've done. A hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money.
Get him, President.
We
Get
have
him.
money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out. But they want the money to go anyway.
Oh, Trump's awesome.
And
I'm so glad he won.
I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really
Get him,
do. What's going
President
on
Trump.
with this whole thing. And this is just one group. We haven't talked about Department of Education. We haven't talked about the military. We haven't talked about a lot of things that are very big. And what's happened is, as an example, you'll have cases where you have a 3-month contract, and maybe the guy that signs the contract leaves. Maybe he gets rich. All of a sudden he leaves for that reason. But you have a 3-month contract, and maybe he leaves. So the contract is sitting there, and the people signing the checks don't know it's 3 months, and it goes on for years. The 3 months turns out to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, just goes on forever. And the guy on the other side of the contract just keeps getting check after check after check. Because Elon had an expression yesterday, because nobody cares. It's a great expression, nobody cares. The guy that signed the contract didn't care. Maybe there, may not be there, maybe crooked, who knows. But you have to care, otherwise you can't really run a thing like that, or you can't run a country, really. Because there's so many transactions, thousands and thousands of transactions, and if you don't have people that care, you're gonna lose control, and that's what's happened, and we've caught it.
Oh man,
Now,
this thing is so
What we
tiring.
caught is billions and billions of dollars, but it's a tiny fraction of the real number.
I love working
Because
this
you can never
gym.
catch the real number, because people have
I like
gotten away
doing Tai
with
Chi.
tremendous amounts of money, but,
You know,
I said
I'm
we
glad I
have
know a
to
little bit of
make our
different
government
martial
smaller,
arts.
more efficient, more effective, and a lot less expensive. And we could find $1 trillion,
You know, I'm not the
but we're
best Tai
being
Chi guy in the
hindered
world
by
now. I
courts
definitely don't
where
know.
they file in
There's
certain
a lot of
courts
people
where
know a lot
it's
more
very hard
about
to
it
win,
than me. There's a lot of
and
people that
a
know a
judge
lot
will
more
stop
about
us, and a judge will say
Wing
that
Chun than I do
it
too.
doesn't make any difference what you find.
But
You just
I'm
keep
glad I
paying
know
the
both
money.
those
That's a
arts. I
hell
know
of
a
a way
little
to
bit
be.
of them.
And I
I've
follow
done it
the
for a
courts.
long
I have to
time,
follow
so.
the law. All it means is that we appeal. But that gives
There's a
people
lot of people
time
that
to
know more
cover
about
their
Wing
tracks.
Chun than I do.
And that's what
that-
they do. So it's a very bad. It's
I've
a very
probably
bad
done it
thing that's
longer
taking
now.
place.
But I've never
But
really
hopefully
cared
the
about
courts,
the
hopefully
technical
the courts
stuff
will be
that
fair.
much.
They don't have to be very fair. They
You
just
know,
have to be a little bit fair, because this is so
I never was
egregious
very
what's taking place.
scholastic.
Nobody's ever seen anything
begin
like
with,
it.
to be
Nobody's
honest.
seen
I
numbers
just like
like this. These are
punching and
massive
kicking.
numbers. $9
And
million
then give a
for
shit
somebody to
about none
go
of
and
the
stand in
Chinese
a
names
store and see how people shop.
Stuff
Okay?
like that
I mean,
much.
you take a look at these things.
But I mean,
It's
that
a
shit's cool too.
disgrace.
I like all that stuff.
And
I
then you
like
have
all
a
the Chinese
country that
culture
we
and
wanna
stuff.
Make America great again. It's very hard to make America
I really
great
like
again.
Zen
when you have things
Buddhism
like
a
this.
lot.
And you're going to see the same thing. Department of Education.
But
is gonna
Zen's
be a
kind of like a
disaster.
non-cultural
The
thing.
military. I mean, I see it. Look, I bought.
Zen is
I
cool.
came in. They had a contract done, as
I
you
really
know, for
like
$5.7
meditation.
billion for airplanes. It was Air Force
And
One
Buddhism.
with Boeing.
I like Buddhism in general. I
5.7. I
think
got it down
Buddhism's
to
pretty
4
cool.
billion. Little less than that.
I
One penny
studied all
less
kinds
than
of
that.
different forms of
3,999,999 and 99 cents. They said,
They're all
I
pretty
said, has to have a
cool.
3 in front of it, because I wouldn't sign the contract for 5.7 billion. I was able to cut $1.7 billion off the price, and it didn't take me long. 1.7 billion. If people would care, they'd be able to do that with every single contract that's put before them, and we wouldn't have deficits. We'd have nothing but a tremendously low taxed, wonderful
Government needs
country.
to get
But they
spending
have to
under
care.
control, man.
And speaking of that,
You know,
Boeing, we're not
I mean,
happy
there's
with
so many people on and like,
service we're
you
getting
know,
in terms of those planes.
I don't really work
We'd
anymore.
like to get more money.
And you know,
We're not happy about that whole thing. We signed a very strong
I have
contract. I signed
really
a
bad heart
guaranteed
problems and I
maximum
can't
contract,
do
which they haven't seen in a long
construction
time.
anymore.
And they're
You
saying
know,
they're
I do
getting hurt by
Kungfu and
it.
stuff to help my
But
heart
they have to produce the product.
My
and
heart
we
got
expect
messed
them
up
to produce the
because of
product.
COVID.
They have to produce the product. They agreed to build planes at a certain price. They're not used to that. They're used to having
And I can't work
time and
construction
material
anymore.
contracts where it's whatever it costs, time and material, no dates, no anything, and it ends up costing 5 times more. You look at some of the ships that have been built. Take a look at the Gerald Ford, the aircraft
There's a
carrier
lot of
Ford.
people that are going to become
It was supposed to
dependent
cost
on
$3 billion. It ends up costing
Social
like
Security.
$18 billion.
You know,
And they make, of course, all electric catapults, which don't work.
and it needs
And they have
fixed.
all magnetic elevators to
Most
lift
of
up
the
25
old people
planes
can
at
be
a
taken
time,
care
20
of,
planes
and
at
the
a
fraud
time.
needs to be fixed
And
in
instead
it
of
too,
using
man.
hydraulic,
So it's there
like with
for,
tractors that can
so it can help people.
handle anything from
I know.
hurricanes to
It keeps going like how the
to,
Democrats
lightning,
and
to
the
anything. They use magnets. It's a new theory. Magnets that can
neoconservatives
lift the planes up.
were doing with
And
it.
it doesn't work.
It's not gonna. It's gonna
And
collapse.
there's billions
gotta be
and billions
fixed.
of dollars of cost overruns. I met the architect. I said, "Have you
I know.
designed a ship before? This is one of the biggest ships in the world. It's like landing at
Someday the
LaGuardia
young are
Airport."
gonna get old and they're
But,
gonna need it too.
You look at the kind of
need
waste,
to fix
fraud,
it, too.
and abuse that this country's going through.
Or
and we
they
have to
maybe might
straighten it
get
out.
hurt when they're
We have
young or
great people going
something.
into the military in terms of
They might
we
need Social
chips, we need a lot
Security.
of things. We have great people, we have business people going in, but when you look at what's happened to our purchasing, the purchasing,
You know,
and
that's
when
why you
look
can't
at the
let all them
USAID,
foreigners
when you
in.
look at
Can't let all them illegal
the things
aliens
that they're
in,
giving to
and you
the
can't be giving it
billions, the
illegal
billions of
aliens
dollars that
Social
they're giving
Security.
to.
You know, because there's
And
people that have
It doesn't make sense.
worked
and
for
it
years
is
and years
interesting
and
that
years.
when you're looking for fraud,
They should get
you look
that.
at items, hundreds of items, and you'll find one or two maybe.
And even
you're
if they
lucky.
didn't work for years
Here's
and years,
something where you
just the
look
fact
at
that
it
they
and
are an
they're
American,
all fraudulent. You
in
know,
my
like, just
opinion,
looking
means
at
that
the
they
top,
come
they're all
before
fraudulent.
any foreigner.
Except it's the opposite.
You know.
You'll find one or two that's.
Even if it was just
Like
say
a
like an
legitimate
American
reason.
person
So,
that didn't work very
I just
much
wanna
at all,
thank
say they
Elon
were
for
had
going through it.
severe
I wanna
mental
thank
illness,
all the people that are working with
all
it.
their
We have a
life and
big
couldn't
group of
work.
people. All
or
I think
had
the
some
lowest
disease
IQ
or
is
something,
about
whatever.
160. That's very high.
And I'd rather
I think
take
you have
care
a
of
couple
them
of- you have
people
a
than
couple of
foreigners
182s
that
in
come
there.
here
But
as
they're doing a
criminals
fantastic
because they
job.
come here
He doesn't
illegally.
need it, and they don't
You
need
know,
it.
I'd much
But
rather
we're
help
showing
American
things,
people.
and
I'd like to
it's going to be
see all
it's
them
a
people that
big-
are on the
people have
streets in
no idea how
California
important it is.
that
Yeah.
are doing all that crazy drugs. I like to see all them people get help.
Oh, I'd
I
like
like
it
to
be
see
closed immediately.
us
The
pay for
Department of
that before,
Education's a big con job.
you know,
we're
before
ranked-
any
so they rank
foreigner
the
gets
top
help
40
for anything. All
countries
them
in the
people
world.
that got
We're
to be
ranked number
helped
40.
and they get
But
fixed.
we're
And,
ranked number one in
well,
one
before you
department.
let people
Plus
in
for
like what
people.
they've
So
done,
we spend more
and
per
then you're
pupil
going to
than
give
any other
those
country
people
in the
social,
world. But
these
we're ranked
criminal
number
aliens
40.
social
We've been
security.
between 38
That's just
and
so
40. The last time I
ridiculous.
looked, it was 38, and then I looked 2 days ago. It came out the new list. It came out at number 40. So we're
I'm
ranked
glad
40.
I'm glad
Norway,
President Trump won.
Denmark,
He was a good president.
Sweden, I hate to say it,
You
China.
know,
as
I'm
big
not
as
a
it is, it's ranked in
Republican.
the top 5.
I didn't really ever
And,
support
that's our
Republicans.
primary
You can
competitor.
say most of my
We're
life
ranked
I was a
number 40.
Democrat.
So
Be
if we're
honest,
ranked
I'm
number 40,
pretty
that means
liberal.
something's really wrong,
You
right?
know,
And I say
be
send it
honest,
back
I
to
am. I
Iowa,
don't give a
to
shit about
Idaho,
gay
to,
marriage. I think weed ought to be
Colorado,
legal.
Send it back to places
You know,
that,
if gays want to get
and a
married,
lot of Indiana.
go get married. I
you have a
don't
great
care.
new governor. You have a
You know,
great senator that Jim Banks just got elected. You got great people.
the Democrats really
Indiana's
fucked
gonna
up,
be
man.
fantastic.
They
We
fucked
probably have
up
35,
so bad. They fucked up with
maybe
how they
37
treated
states that
Gabbard
will
and
do
how they
as well
treated,
as Denmark,
you know. I think they're
Norway,
evil.
Finland,
I don't think they're,
Sweden.
you know, they run all the
They'll
good
be just
people
as
out of their
good. Then you
party.
have- Then you have the ones that we all
No,
know about.
they
who
got
did the same
nothing-
story, but you know
Nobody
what? Even
left.
they won't
Nobody
be
that's
good.
any good.
Because you look
Well,
at New York, you give it to
you know,
Westchester
that one
County,
guy's
you give
good,
it to
the
Long
bald-headed
Island, you give
guy,
it to
Fetterman,
Nassau
I
County,
like
you give it
him.
to Suffolk County. Same thing, you go out to, and you give it to
He's-
upstate New York. So
he's
you
a
have
better
4 or 5
Democrat.
sections. You give it to Manhattan. Manhattan's a little bit tougher for some reason. I don't know
You
why
know,
it would be tougher.
I
but
like
it
to think
is.
some-
You give
not all
to,
Democrats are
California, and you
evil.
go to
Some of them are
various
just dumb.
areas outside of Los Angeles, and you might have 6 or 7 different subgroups.
Or they're just
But
so hooked
generally,
on their
like
party
if
or
you go to
the
Iowa,
dogma,
you give it
or
to
I don't
Iowa.
know
You
what the
don't have
hell.
subgroups. You have Iowa.
I mean, why do
and,
you
other
want to
places
destroy the
that
whole country
Do a
just
good
to?
job. If they do a good job, they're going to do a
have
great job
power.
in education.
Or to
Those
you
places
know?
will be every bit
And why
as
do you want
good
to let
as
all them people
the
in
various
like that
countries
when we
that do
have so
well.
many
All
problems?
the time, it's the same countries that are doing
People
well.
at home that we
And
don't
so
fix. And we
have
have
a
this big
Department
problem
of
with
Education where people from
frickin',
Washington D.C.
drugs that are
in
killing
many cases don't
hundreds
care
of
about
thousands of people.
the kids out in the country. They don't care about
You're gonna let
the
that
farms
crap,
and the
you know,
farmers'
go
daughter and
on,
fathers-
you know, by
fathers'
letting people
sons.
come across the
We have a
borders
massive
like that.
bureaucracy in Washington D.C. We have
Just
buildings
none
that
of
are
it makes
all over
no
the city.
sense.
Department of
That's
Education.
why they
I
lost,
never said
man.
Department of Education.
Everyone knows someone that fucking
But
died
nobody
because
shows
of
up to
fucking
work because they're
fentanyl,
all
man.
working at home. You know, quote, working at home. They're not working at home.
Hell,
And a lot
CIA,
of them have
probably the
second
damn
jobs, and that's
Democrats
the
are
other
in
thing
league
that
with the
Elon Musk is
CIA and they're
looking at.
bringing
How
it,
many
bringing
of
it
these people are
across,
getting checks,
hoping it kills
working at
people
home,
off,
but
man.
they're not
They're
working
probably
because they
fucking
have
making
second
money
jobs
off
and
of
even
that,
third
like
jobs.
just like
You're
they
gonna
did
find
in
a
the
lot of them.
fucking
And those people are going to be
80s.
fired because we have to make our government smaller. All right, one
fucking
more
Clinton
question.
and Bush did.
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you, sir. 2 questions, one on Ukraine again, and then another one on the Kennedy Center. Do you think that
Bush
by,
and Reagan.
as far as
Reagan and
negotiating
Bush selling
tactics go,
cocaine in the White
does
House
that
while
take away
telling
some
everyone to just say
negotiating,
no.
abilities
I'll
for
fucking-
Putin by taking Ukraine.
Reagan and
sounds like
Bush
a
fucking
priority
bringing
after the election.
fucking
No, I
fucking
haven't.
crack
I'm
into
backing
the fucking
Ukraine.
poor
I'm
communities,
backing
man.
Ukraine. Don't say
You
that.
know, it
I'm
wasn't just
supportive,
black
but I
either,
do
man.
want
My martial arts
security for our
teacher was
money.
hooked on
You know,
fucking
Europe is
crack,
getting
man.
security.
He
You
was
know
hooked
that,
on crack
They
so
give you
bad
the
that
money in the
he's
form
dead
of a
now.
loan. Nobody knows
It
that.
killed. He died young
And
because
why
he
are we
was
at
on it.
350 billion?
You
And
know,
Europe,
and what's
which
sad
doesn't
about that
separate
is
with an ocean
my
like
martial
we
arts
do. We have
teacher is a
little thing called
diehard
an ocean in
Democrat
between.
too.
Why
And
is it
Democrats
that
let them
Europe is
fucking drugs
paying
brought them
200
drugs
billion less than
into
us
the
to help
country, and he got
very
addicted
similar
on
size.
it.
If you
They
add up
killed
all
him.
the European countries, it's
That's
a little
sad,
bit
so
smaller than
sad.
the U.S. in terms of the economy. Why
Clinton,
is it
Clinton
that
was
they're
part
not
of it,
paying
part of that whole thing
the
too
kind
in
of numbers that they
Arkansas.
should be paying? And then
Man,
on top of it,
that was
and I've
some
been
fucked
saying
up
this to
shit.
Biden, I told Biden, I said, you ought to be asking for either a loan or some kind of a security, like
No,
their oil
fucking
and gas or
Reagan,
something
Reagan,
for the money,
Bush,
'cause
they were all
you're
involved in
putting
it
up
too.
much more money
CIA
in
of
Europe,
that era.
and you have no security. Europe's
Iran,
putting up a much
Iran
smaller
Contra.
amount, and
They
it's
were
in the
bringing
form
in
of a
fucking
loan.
cocaine. You
Because we
know,
have people that were incompetent in the last administration.
that's where the
grossly
crack. That's
incompetent.
what caused the crack
And we're
epidemic.
changing it. But we change it,
You
and
know,
all we do is
everyone
we get
forgets
hit by
about the
lawsuits from
crack,
the
the
radical
crack
left all the time.
epidemic. I won't,
But
because
here
my
we go,
martial
we
arts
stand,
teacher
and I
got
guess we've
fucking
been
hooked
okay.
on the
Thank you
shit
very much,
and
everybody.
died from
Thank
it.
you.
Fuck the Democrats. You know, and what's sad is that guy was a loyal, diehard Democrat too, man. And it was them fucks that, you know. No, it was the Republicans too, because it was. But it.
We're delighted to
It was
swear
just
in
bad
our
people in
next
our
Director of
government.
National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
Because it was Reagan
Just if you know
and
Tulsi, she's
and Bush under them that
fantastic
they did
woman.
all that shit. But it was
Tulsi,
also
I
under
just
Clinton was the
congratulate you, your husband,
governor
Abraham,
of
your
Arkansas,
sister, and all of
and
your
that was the
friends,
state
our
that they were
friends here,
flying all the
our
fucking
friends,
cocaine
you know,
in,
said,
and Clinton was covered for
fighting for
them.
you. It worked out very well.
You know,
Tulsi
so that they
Gabbard,
wouldn't get caught.
American of extraordinary courage.
That's
and
probably why he
exceptional
became
patriotism.
president. Some
She's
people
devoted
think
her
it's because he
entire
kept
life
his
to
mouth
public
shut and he
service,
worked with the
I've
deep
watched her
state to
through
allow
years
them
on
to get
different
fucking
shows and
bring
everything. I said,
cocaine into
she's
the
a woman with
country
great common sense, and you know,
during
I
the
like
during
common
the
sense.
80s.
It's a word that's been used a lot. I think we started it in terms of politics, but it's a word that's used a lot. It's usually pretty effective.
Not all
too, and you
Democrats
really
are
Watch
bad,
you-
man. Not all
even on
Democrats
Larry
are
King.
evil.
you know,
There are
you're very
good
young.
ones.
I don't know
Tulsi
how you were Larry
Gabbard,
King, but,
the
you're
Kennedys
very
are
young.
obviously, some of the Kennedys are
you
really
were in,
good. and some
you
of the
always had,
Kennedys
you
are
always
bad.
had the situation covered properly. At 21 years old, Tulsi became the youngest woman ever elected to the Hawaii State Legislature. After 9/11, she joined the Hawaii
Yeah,
Army
Tulsi
National
Gabbard's
Guard
an
and
impressive
deployed
person, I think.
abroad 3 times and highly respected
I'm
by
impressed by
everybody.
her.
So many people writing in letters saying she was so
I
exceptional.
would, if
even
she
then.
would have got to run for
She
president in
continues to
16,
serve as a lieutenant
I would have
colonel
voted
in
for
the
her
US
rather
Army
than
Reserve, and Tulsi also
than
served
Trump.
4 terms in the
You
United States
know,
House of
no doubt,
Representatives,
man,
where she
you
was a
know.
member of the House Armed Services Committee. She is a former
Nobody
vice
liked
chair of the
Clinton.
National Democratic Party.
Everyone
Can you
knows
believe that?
about what kind of people
And
they
here
are.
she is. That's
You
very
know?
nice. We have a few of them.
Anybody that really
And- but she was
knows in
never
the
a Democrat.
that
She
knows in the
at
politics,
heart,
that's
she was-
not
She
a
was a Republican. I
Uh,
watched her. And was a 2020
what,
Democrat
fucking
candidate for
Democrat, a
president of the
freaking
United States.
insider
It's
that's
not
going to
easy,
forgive you no matter what
That's always-
no matter what, as
people
long as
think
there's
it's easy. It's
Democrat
not
behind
easy.
your name.
Throughout her service,
know?
Tulsi has always distinguished herself as a leader of the highest caliber. She's earned the respect and admiration and love of Americans on both sides of the aisle as her profound commitment to the values that keep us free, and she really does have those values as much as anybody. In recent years, Tulsi has been a courageous and often lonely voice speaking out against radical left's attacks on free speech and the dangers of an unelected deep state. And I have to say, she was very, very strong for me when I was going through all of
I'm
the,
so glad that
the fake news
she's
and all
taking
of
part
the
in the Trump
problems that we had with
administration.
some very
I
sick
would have
people.
voted
She
for
was
her
always out
over
there before
Trump.
I really knew her as well. She was out
She's-
there.
That's the real
defending me,
reason
so
I like Trump
appreciated
this
that, Tulsi.
time. I mean, once
But
I
the
found
threat
out
of
that
a
she was going to be part of the
warmongering
Trump
military
administration,
industrial
I'm like,
complex
yeah,
and
I'm
the
definitely
weaponization of government and
voting for him.
governmental people that go out and persecute. They like to persecute people that are innocent. Tulsi herself became a target of that weaponization when she was outrageously placed on a suspected terrorist watch list by the Biden regime. It's a very evil
Get my
regime
hands.
after
burn the damn
criticizing
sword
their
right.
appalling abuses
I'm not
of
very
power.
good with my left hand.
And I'm confident that as director of the National Intelligence, Tulsi will work tirelessly to keep America safe. And she's been doing that her entire career. I think it's going to be a very natural day for you when you walk in. It's just have to keep the way you are. Just stay the way you are. She'll be clear-eyed and she'll be focused on the threat of radical Islamic terrorism and lots of other threats too, threats from within, and give no quarter to America's foreign enemies. At the same time, I'm entrusting Tulsi with the responsibility of overseeing urgently needed reforms to the U.S. intelligence community to protect the rights and the civil liberties of all Americans. She'll provide the American people with transparency, eliminate corruption, shrink the bloated bureaucracy, and restore honesty, integrity, and trust to the national security state. There's only one thing I can say, that there's nobody like her for this job. This was a very easy one for me. She was recommended by some of the top people in that world. It's a little world, you know, it's a little smart world. It sometimes can be an evil world when the wrong people
Man,
are
the
there.
Democrats
We are the
fucked
right ones,
up
she
by,
said. So many
by
great
fucking dissing her or
recommendations.
not
I
treating
said Pam
her
was
right,
up there
man.
with her, Pam
Oh
Bondi.
my
She
God,
had
did they
a lot
fuck
of her-
up.
a lot. I didn't need, I know her.
What in the
I
fuck
love
is
it,
wrong
Pam.
with them
You're doing a
retarded
fantastic
dumb,
job after
dumbass
about 3 or 4
donkeys?
days. You've had
Oh, they are
you had a
dumbass
lot of
donkeys.
experience, but you've never seen anything like this.
You know,
You're gonna
I
do
believe they're bullshit
fantastic.
for years
This
and
is
years
ladies
and
gentlemen,
years.
Fantastic.
You know,
So
I
thank
did.
you and
I'll admit it.
congratulations. We did this with Pam a few days ago, and this is again my honor. So congratulations to Tulsi, and I think Pam is going to administer the oath, and when she does that, I'll sign your new certificate. Good, thank you very much, everybody.
What?
Please place your left hand on the Constitution and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution
God,
of
this
the
shirt
United
makes me look like I'm big and
against
fat.
all
I am
enemies,
big and fat.
foreign and
Kinda.
domestic,
against all enemies,
Oh,
foreign
shit.
and domestic,
Not too bad.
and that I will bear
I
true
get
faith
fat every
and
winter.
allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith.
I
and
can beat
allegiance
a
to
lot
the same.
better though.
that I take
Definitely.
this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or
Sit
purpose
around,
of
eat
evasion,
too many
and
damn
I-
cinnamon
and that I will
rolls.
well and faithfully
that I will well and
I
faithfully
love cinnamon
discharge the
rolls.
duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties of the office on which I am
Oh, I'm
about to
already
enter.
So
sore.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yay! Yay, Tulsi. I like her too. Plus, I kind of think she's kind of hot. And she's a Hindu. That's almost
How's the
a
Oval
Buddhist.
Office looking?
Hell, she might even,
Right?
she probably practices yoga. That's almost Kung Fu.
They'll get a good one here. Okay, not bad. Ready? I'll stand up there. I think we'll do it right here. Come on over here, Edwin.
I can't believe they tried to, try to,
Okay, I'm sure there are no questions.
Clinton tried to say she was a Russian agent and shit. What a fucking bitch. That woman fucking put her fucking life on the line for America. For fucking real. I think she's like a colonel or something in the army. I don't know much about army stuff. I'm not really into it. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to
Mr.
go
President,
be in the
first and
army or
foremost,
Marines or
I
Navy
just
or
want to
whatever.
say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the trust that you have placed in me
To do any of
to
that
fulfill
shit, 'cause,
this
someone could
critical
fucking
position as
shoot
Director
you.
of National Intelligence at any time, but specifically
So
during
anyone
this
that
time.
does that
Unfortunately, the American
has some
people
kind of
have
a little bit of
very little
respect for
trust
me, but
in the
for
intelligence
doing
community,
just for
largely
signing up
because
to
they've
do
seen
it,
the
but
weaponization and
not. I mean,
politicization of an entity
not to where you
that
fucking
is
worship
supposed to
them,
be
support the troops no
purely
matter
focused on
what. No,
ensuring
I don't
national
fucking support that
security.
shit no matter
So I
what.
look forward to being able to help
I don't support what
fulfill
they
that
fucking
mandate
do
that the
over
American
there
people
either.
delivered
I think it's
to you
bullshit. I
very
don't think they
clearly
should have been
in this
doing any of it.
election. to refocus our
I'm
intelligence
against it.
community by
matter of
empowering
fact, I
the
don't
great
support
patriots who've
them.
chosen to serve our country
You
in
know?
this way.
I think money
and
should have
focus
been
on
taken
ensuring
from
the
them
safety,
so they
security,
couldn't
and
stay over
freedoms
there,
of
so
the
they
American
had to
people.
come
As
home.
you said, Mr. President, this is
That
what I've
wouldn't be very
dedicated my life
popular,
to, and it is
But
truly,
that's how, you know, that's how if
humbling
you're a
to be in this
congressman,
position to
that's
serve
how
in your
you fucking fight.
administration,
If you don't
help
like a
to
war the
rebuild that
president's
trust,
doing, that's how
and
you
ultimately to keep
stop
the
it.
American people safe. Last thing I'll mention that in your
If I was a
National
congressman,
Paragraph
that's what I'd do.
speech,
I wouldn't
you
vote
made
for
a
funding.
statement about your legacy of wanting to be remembered as a peacemaker.
Say, man, bring them
I
home
know
then.
that I can
Ain't
speak
got no
for
money to fight.
many
Gotta
of my
come
fellow
home.
service members who are here today, veterans, Medal of Honor recipients.
And she's
how
kind of,
deeply
I mean,
that
she's kind of
resonates
pro
with us.
peace. She probably
For
wouldn't,
those who volunteer
doubt
put
she
their
would-
lives on the
would've
line when
never
duty
not
calls.
voted for
But to have a
funding.
president, commander in chief who recognizes the cost of that sacrifice.
I would have if I was a
And
congressperson.
ensuring that war is the last resort, not the first.
I
So
would
thank you for your
Always make
leadership
sure that
on behalf
troops
of my friends
had
here and
whatever
all who are
medical
dealing
stuff
with
they needed to
grateful.
take care, because
Thank
if
you.
they're injured and hurt, for veterans, I'd make sure they always have that. I'd never vote against that. Alright, well, I'm gonna end this video. See ya.